In a small village of Umuoba in eastern Nigeria lived a girl named Adana. Her story was a tragic one from the beginning. Adana's mother Oluchi died while giving birth to her, leaving her father Nnamdi a broken man. As a baby, Adana was cared for by her grandmother. A year later, her father remarried a woman named Ngozi, who had a daughter before coming to marry Adana's father. Ngozi was everything a stepmother shouldn't be. She was cruel, cold-hearted, and had a very hot temper. She often mentioned to Nnamdi that Adana was the reason Oluchi died, poisoning Nnamdi's heart against his own daughter. As Adana grew into a beautiful young girl, she became the target of her stepmother's hatred. Ngozi made her do all the chores: sweeping, cooking, fetching water, tending to the farmlands, while her own daughter Uju did nothing at all. Uju, just a year older than Adana, was a mirror image of her mother, spoiled and cruel, always mocking Adana for her shabby clothes and hard, dirty hands. But despite the harsh treatment, Adana remained kind and resilient. She had inherited her mother's gentle nature, and her beauty shone through the roughness of her daily life. Her only solace came in form of her late mother's necklace, which she wore every day. A simple necklace with pendants that Oluchi, her mother, had worn all her life. Adana held onto it as a reminder of the mother she never knew but still felt close to. In the village, word soon spread that the king, Igwe Chukwuma, was seeking a bride for his son, Prince Obinna. The prince had recently returned from studying abroad and was known for his intelligence, bravery, and kindness. The entire village buzzed with excitement as rumors went about who would be chosen. Ngozi was determined that her daughter Uju would marry the prince. She believed that Uju's beauty and connections would secure the royal marriage, elevating their family status. One fateful day, it was announced that there would be a grand festival at the palace where the prince would meet all the eligible young women from the village. Ngozi immediately began preparing Uju, dressing her in the finest clothes, adorning her with gold jewelry, and making sure she looked flawless. Adana, on the other hand, was forbidden from attending. Ngozi, jealous of Adana's natural beauty, gave her extra work that day, forcing her to stay behind while the rest of the village flocked to the palace. As the sun set, the sound of the festival filled the air. Adana, exhausted and covered in dirt, stood by the village streams, tears brimming down her eyes. She has always dreamed of seeing the palace, even if she never expected to meet the prince. But her dreams, like so many others, seemed out of reach. Just as she was about to return to the house, an elderly woman appeared beside her, a woman she had never seen before. The woman smiled kindly. "Why do you cry, my child?" Adana wiped her tears and said, "I am not crying," she lied. The woman looked at her with knowing eyes. "I see your pain, but I also see your strength. You have a good heart, and that is more valuable than gold." Adana, confused, simply nodded. The woman's presence was calming. Before leaving, the elderly woman handed her a small wrapped parcel. "Take this," she said. "It belongs to you." Adana opened the parcel to find a beautiful dress, more elegant than anything she had ever seen. "But how?" she said. The woman smiled mysteriously. "It was meant for you. Wear it and go to the palace." Without hesitation, Adana put on the dress, which seemed to shimmer in the moonlight and ran towards the palace. Her heart was racing. Meanwhile, at the festival, the prince was not impressed by the many young women who were presented to him, including Uju. Although she has tried her best to charm him, Prince Obinna's attention remained distant. He was looking for someone special, someone different, and none of the women he had met so far had captured his interest. Just as the prince was about to retire for the night, the gates of the palace opened and Adana entered. The entire crowd fell silent as she walked through, her beauty and grace mesmerizing everyone. Even Ngozi and Uju, who stood near the front, were struck speechless. No one recognized her in the elegant dress, but her radiance was undeniable. Prince Obinna's eyes met hers, and in that moment, something stirred in him. He walked towards her and said, "Who are you?" he asked softly. Adana, unsure of what to say, replied, "My name is Adana." The prince smiled. Adana, a beautiful name for a beautiful soul. The two spent the rest of the evening talking, laughing, and sharing stories. The prince was struck by her intelligence, humility, and kindness. It was clear to him that Adana was not like the other girls. As the night went on, Uju, looking with jealousy, realized who Adana was. Whispered to her mother, and together they plotted to reveal Adana's true identity. Believing it would disgrace her and destroy any chance she had with the prince. At the height of the night, as the prince was about to announce his choice, Ngozi stormed forward, pulling Adana by the arm. "This girl is not a noble woman," she shouted. "She is nothing but a servant, the daughter of my husband's first wife. She has been living in rags all her life and has no place here." Everyone was quiet and surprised. Prince Obinna looked at Adana with a blank expression. Adana, whose heart was already pounding, stepped forward and said, "It's true," her voice shaking. "I am not from a wealthy family. My mother died when I was born, and my stepmother has treated me like a servant. But I am not ashamed of who I am." The prince's face softened, and to everyone's surprise, he took her hand and said, "It is not wealth or status that I seek." His voice was firm and lovely. "It is a good heart, and Adana has proven that hers is pure." Ngozi and Uju were surprised. Their plan has failed before their eyes. The crowd murmured in approval as the prince declared his intention to marry Adana. As the prince and Adana turned to leave, the elderly woman from the stream appeared again. This time, everyone recognized her. She was not just an old woman, but the village's wise woman, revered for her knowledge and spiritual gifts. She revealed that she had watched over Adana her entire life, protecting her and waiting for the day when her destiny would be fulfilled. With the wise woman's blessing, Adana married Prince Obinna, and they became the most loved couple in the kingdom. Under her husband's guidance and support, Adana flourished. Her intelligence and kindness won the hearts of everyone. And while Uju and Ngozi were left to wallow in their own bitterness, Adana rose above the cruelty of her past, becoming not only a queen, but a beacon of hope for all the young girls in the village who had never felt loved all their lives. The girl who was once treated like a servant became a queen, her beauty shining from within, and her story of resilience, kindness, and courage became the stuff of legend in Umuoba for generations to come. Thank you for watching.